Hello everybody, Burnedoutguy here, and welcome back to Build Survivor. Alright, so I've been playing around with these trains there because we had a derailment and I don't want to keep it happening again, so I made this little mock setup over here to figure out how trains work. Now, I think I got this down packed, kind of. Alright, so when you can see at certain points, I guess you kind of need them depending on like how you have your train set up. So we have one train that does that station and this station, which is going to kind of simulate what we're doing already, right? And then we have this train that does that station and this station. So with putting these at the intersections, it'll read the one that's kind of like ahead of it. So you see how that one's red, and that will stay red until he goes by. Then it went green. So that means it's okay for him to go. But now that he's gone by, no train will go by this section, right? And then it's kind of like the same thing over here. He's going to go over here. He's going to see that he can't go that way, but he's going to go this way because that's just the way he's going to go in order to get to the station number 2. And then he's being cautioned because this one's over here, but he had lots of time to go. It's kind of strange. It does read up ahead. So, and then these ones here, they say you can use at intersections. After this guy leaves, I'll switch it out. See what it does. Bam. So that's supposed to do pretty much all the same thing as this, except it reads the signal up ahead. Yeah. Which is weird. There you go. So if this one here, when this one here turns green, this one here will turn green. As if my understanding is correct. Yellow. Now that that guy's there, it's gonna go. Yeah. So he's got the green light, but he's got the red light. Now it's red. You got the yellow, but it's still red. See, that's weird, eh? That didn't really mimic what it was supposed to do. Weird. I don't know. Yeah, so I think these ones here, I'm just gonna not use them. I'm just gonna go ahead and use these ones here. They seem to work a little bit better. Yeah. So we're gonna leave this little setup here. I just need the trains back, more or less. Oh, I'll just leave this here for now. I'll come back and destroy it at a later day if we need to. Just keep it as a reminder of trying to how this all works. So let's go back over here. All right, so I think one of the big problems that we have with our train setup is that we have a lot of intersections really close to one another, and I think this is what balls stuff up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make things a little bit more simpler, and I'm going to run a there track and a back track. And that way, the only places that I have to worry about doing the signals is going to be around the stations itself, and I think that's how we're going to do that, just to make it simple, and then I won't have to worry about little derailments here and there because I did something wrong. So I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so over at this station, I think the only thing I'm going to have to do is put like a stop here, and then that way it'll read if there's a train here. And then once the train is done and goes here, it should be allowed to go that way. I don't know why it's not red, why that is red, but anyways. we'll go back and we'll see what's going on. That's the only signal that's on this entire track, so there shouldn't be, unless it's like back home. But anyways, we'll go for a little trip and find out. And we have double tracked this all the way back, by the way. The entire thing is a double track. Crazy, both of these lights are red for some reason. All right, that's good. Well, at least we got green to goes on this side. So let's set these trains up and see if we can get this to work. All right, so we got loop trade 1. He's going to loop production. He's coming back here. He's got to go for full, come back empty. And then we go automatic. He should go off and do his thing. Loop train 2. You're going to loop production. And you're coming back to loop station. Wagon full. Wagon empty. Automatic. And I'm going for a ride. Just to make sure everything's going to be fine. So I have like little checkpoints along the way just to make sure that they're going to be okay. And then I have one stop right before the station. So this guy should stop right before the station because that's how it works. And I didn't use any of the triple ones. I've only used the single ones. So like as you can see, every once in a while I put one of these. And this guy should start to slow down because it's red there. Excellent. It's better just to have a nice big closed loop like that, I find. Instead of having checkpoints along the way where it's checking ahead. And anyways, it makes it a little less complicated like this, just because like yeah, easier for my little brain. That's fine. So this will take some time, I guess, to fill up. God knows how long are we even using. I see the problem is with this game so far is we don't use enough plastic anywhere unless you're like I don't know. We might have screwed up too because of the lube thing, but anyways, I digress. But anyways, we do make way more plastic than needed. So I'm probably gonna have to put a bunch of more containers out here for us to make that work. My God, this sucks. All right, so I'm gonna nitpick a little bit. This process of making the lubricant is very slow and unbalanced. Mainly because you make too much petroleum gas, and there's only one thing you can do with the petroleum gas is make plastic. And plastic, you don't use enough of it to really do much with, you know, this. So like you're constantly storing the plastic in the containers. So that's one of my big beefs. Either give another use to petroleum gas that's like worthwhile, like turning it into, I don't know, maybe like a heavy fuel or something like that. Like I don't know, would be nice. Or turning it into a solid fuel, something like that. Make it more useful. Because right now we're jamming up on this like big time, and this is like the problem with making the heavy oil is you don't make enough heavy oil with this process, and you make, I guess the light oil is not bad, but the heavy oil you don't make enough, and the other stuff you make too much of. That's my opinion. So I think that process needs to be refined a little bit better. Because look, I got both my trains, and this guy's been like waiting a long time to fill up. Like this takes an eternity to fill up. I know I only have the one, but it's always waiting for the petroleum to get processed because I'm trying to make always plastic with it. Now I could add a couple of more machines here to, like, you know, pull the plastic out, make plastic a little bit faster, but that's not going to help my end game result over there because I'm just storing it in containers way down there, right? So yeah, this process needs to be rethought a little bit better. The petroleum part anyways, on the developer side, not mine. Early access game though, it's a good game though. I'm liking it. The signals there, well, I'm getting kind of, now I kind of understand, but the other ones there, I don't see how they work, because this one here is connected to another one that's way back there, and because this one is red, that one way back there is red. So really, technically, you can get away with just using these signal ones, these single signals. Yeah, in my opinion. So, yeah. Well, with that being said, I guess I'm gonna have to wait for this to get done. But I think we can continue on with some things today. So, we look here. I have completed all the research. So everything is done. Everything. What we're going to check out today is we're going to check out the bucket miners. So that's just wiring, execution units, lubricated gears, and steel. So we'll go home and we'll create one of these and we'll see what they do and how much resources they pull in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here is our bucket miner in action. This thing does 240 items per minute, which is pretty dang good. You can put a module in it and make it even faster, which is pretty intense. So it means you could probably go a lot higher. That's pretty insane. At the cost of more power, mind you, which is pretty good. I think these things should have been earlier on in the game. Instead of like being way down here at the bottom, like they should have been more like mid-game kind of thing to help you get resources. I think that would have been probably better. But yeah, I like them. They look nice. That's for sure. They do look really nice. Nice little thing. Looks good, man. Looks good. And a lot more efficient than these things. They're like 4 times better. These are only like 60 per minute. A lot of these are empty over here, so which kind of sucks, but I'm just gonna leave them for now because I don't care. All right, so let's have a look at this monstrosity that is the rocket launcher thing. Damn, son. All right, this thing is pretty huge. So I've already started putting some stuff into here, and I'll show you what I've done. So here we got rocket engines that we need to create. We have to create pipe valves. We need high density plates. We need rocket fuel and liquid oxygen. These are the things that we need in order to make this happen. Okay? So I'll take you back to the beginning of where I started this. So we'll start with this one right here. This one here is making the pipes. So we have all the pipes, and these pipes are going in here and making the valves. The valve recipe is 15 per minute, which is 30 circuits and 60 pipes per minute. So that's why we have these pipes over here. That's what, 180, and each one of these are 40, so 5 gives you 200. So we're making just a little bit over what they need. So that's good. So that gives us the 45 pipes per minute that we need for this thing over here, as long as the chips keep up. And as you can see, the chips are absolutely empty right now. And why are we empty of chips? Aha, this seems to be the issue. The copper has run out. Aha. Well, that's not good. It looks like I'm slowly running out of coal too over there. Okay. I think that's another complaint I have about this game. The resource nodes don't last long. Like the little bit that's in them, I'm burning through them so fast. Like it's just disgusting. You know what? I'm actually not even gonna bother with that. All right, so we got lots of resource issues right now. Copper is not coming in very well, stuff like that. So, but that's fine. That's a problem for another series. But yeah, whatever. That's another big complaint I have about this game. The resource nodes don't last long. I'm burning through them like really quick, and I'm barely doing anything. So like, I think they need to be like 10 times the length that they are right now, because this is just ridiculous on how fast I'm going through them all. What else here? So yeah, so we did this part, we got those going. Then over here we have to make the rocket engine parts. So that's the insulated wire, pipes, and high density plates. High density plates we're not getting in right now because we don't have enough silica being made, because we're running out of copper again. So yeah, I'm not going to be bothering running around for that. So now all that's going to go into there, and then all we have left to do would have been coming down here and making the rocket fuel and the liquid oxygen. The recipe for the liquid oxygen needs to get fixed. If we go down here, you look at liquid oxygen, it's the ingredient is what, time? It's going to be water, probably. I'm really assuming it's just water put into this and you're going to get liquid oxygen. Exactly how, I don't know. There's no flame, there's no nothing. I am not really 100% sure. Anyways, that's that. And then the liquid fuel, we would have sent a train going all the way back to get that, and then bringing that liquid fuel over here. That being said, I think that does give extra purpose to the petroleum. I think you can turn petroleum into liquid fuel. So I think you could siphon off a little bit of that to make liquid fuel, if I'm not mistaken. So that probably could have like helped balance that out a little bit as well, depending on how many rockets you're sending up. So that's probably what you could have done with that. So maybe it might not have been as big as a problem as I thought over there, but yeah. Anyhow, I think that's where we're gonna leave this series, because I'm getting tired of running through resource nodes. They don't last, like I said, they don't last long. I think they need to last a lot longer than what they're lasting. Yeah, or give a slider to the person, whoever wants to. If you want to run around like an idiot to, you know what I mean, like going from resource to resource node, like by all means. But I think you should put a slider in there saying like, oh, normal, infinite, or whatever, right? Like, but yeah, or make it infinite nodes and then do whatever, right? But yeah, on that note, I think this is a really good game. It's got a lot of potential, a lot of workings that it needs to get done, a lot of balancing. But other than that, I had a lot of fun playing this. I'm looking forward for when it hits 1.0. I will come back and check it out when it hits 1.0 for sure. This is a fun little game. Like I said, it has lots and lots of potential. I hope the developer puts in lots of love, because like it's going to be good. Like I said, the few little complaints that I have about like running through resource nodes too quickly, um, just little tiny things, really, nothing too horrible. So maybe adding more recipes. I found going through the tech tree was too fast. Maybe add more stuff to do here, make them more complex. I don't know. But it was fun. It was a good little game. It was a fun little series. And I hope you all enjoyed. Everybody, like, subscribe, peace, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.